What attracted me to e-assessment was a determination to see learning in Scotland's colleges improve. And I think e-assessment can give us that. It offers a great deal to both student, member of staff and to the college as a whole, but the primary driver certainly is improvement of learning. The students like e-assessment because they get immediacy of answer. And I think that also helps them to take an active role in determining what happens thereafter. The benefits of the college are several. One has certainly got to be putting the student centre stage, so that everything centres around him or her. I think it does also mean that the college begins to realise as a whole that it is about good learning and about supporting the student in achieving his or her potential. E-assessment is valuable to practitioners because, again, it draws them nearer to the student. It helps them to believe that they can make improvements. They don't have to stay with the practice of the past. They can make the impact on the students' learning through good ICT developments. There's a great deal there for the practitioner. And I think, providing we support the practitioner well, they will welcome it. And I think that there are areas of learning which are very difficult to assess without using a new approach to it. I think of work that was done with stonemasons, for example. Very difficult with pen and paper to get at some of their issues. But using the technology, there's no doubt that you can get at them. So I think that when it comes to what the advantages are several, but I think providing they are the needs of the moment for the student, they're going to work. There are barriers to implementing anything new, and there are barriers to implementing e-assessment. Many of these are well documented. They are about the new skills that practitioners have to learn. They are about building teams that have all the right strengths, the right experience to support the lecturer and the student. They are about changing the climate to realising that all of the old assessment methods have their place, but there is a need for new approaches, especially to provide immediacy of answer to the student. That these barriers will not go away overnight, but they're not insurmountable. Instant feedback is critical to the student, particularly for the part-time student or the student who's only in the college for a block of time during the year. We cannot make those students wait weeks on end to get an interview with a lecturer to determine how they had fared, where the weaknesses might lie. That kind of feedback cycle is just not appropriate. Immediacy matters to them. I think it is one of those keys to putting the student at the centre, because they can then work on what they believe are their difficulties, and they can work with their lecturer to determine how to face those difficulties. And the immediacy of the answer is critical to that. I think if it happens 3 weeks down the line from the assessment, life has moved on, the student has moved on to new issues, and you don't really close the gaps that may be there. As with any new developments, availability and accessibility are issues, and you cannot cure those issues overnight. I think there is no doubt that there's good practice here and there right across Scotland's colleges, but I think every college would own up to not every area of the curriculum being well served by e-assessment. So there's a lot of work to be done, and it's going to demand a great deal both of the practitioners, their support staff, the college management. It's going to demand a great deal of everyone. But I think we have to face up to it and provide, where appropriate, the kind of assessments that are helpful to all the parties. Anyone who's considering an e-assessment as strategy will be well aware that you can't just impose it upon either the learner, the lecturer or the college. There's a great deal has to be done. It's always helpful if there's a clear, from the top, strategy that sets out the responsibilities of all the parties and what the college is bringing to the party to make sure that the exercise is well supported. But it can't stop there. I think there has to be the building of a team that has the right technical and educational skills to be able to take the exercise forward. I think that team probably for a period has to be dedicated to that single task. I think it also involves the lecturers engaging in a learning process to equip them with the skills that they need. It also has to involve the students. And it clearly, again, to impose that upon them without any understanding as to why the college is moving in this direction is neither unfair nor particularly wise. So there's work to be done across several fronts if a strategy involving e-assessment is going to work. Senior management buy-in in terms of e-assessment, as in terms of any other exercise, is critically important. There has to be an understanding that the college is moving in a particular direction, that the college sees the importance of developments like e-assessment. I think it does mean then that there can be engagement with all the parties that matter, the student, the lecturer, the trade unions, and bodies like Scotland's colleges, all of whom would have a part to play in the college being successful in delivering e-assessment. If I were trying to sum up e-assessment, I would say it's one of the tools that one would use to putting the student at the centre of learning. It is about strengthening his or her hand in taking forward their own learning. It demands of them that they manage their own learning. They're going to have to work to identify where they're strong, where they're weak. My summation of what e-assessment is about good teaching practice and enabling the learner and the lecturer and the college each to play its part in taking forward an exercise that will be ultimately to the good of that student and wherever that student will find employment in the future.